Ooh, grip. Where's that stage hand? Hi, welcome to my tiny little tube. My name is Margie. I'm a Heyoka empath. I just like having these little talks on how I feel about things. If I talk about how I feel about things, then it doesn't get stuck in my head, in my energy field, then I don't act on these things. How I picture things in the movie and the cartoons. Can't be violent with people, gotta keep your hands to yourself. Thou shalt not kill, all that stuff that they say, just get along with people, that's it. Ever you two shall disagree. Do you like my hat? No, I do not. Okay, have a good day. Bye now. Go dog, go book. So, I was just going down. I was listening to that astrologer. I listen to people so much because I gain my perspective from the perspective of others. I'm fluid. I don't have earth in my chart. I'm not a grounded person. So, the fact that I appear to be just shows I can fake it real good. Just gotta keep it nice and light, even keel. Everybody just stay nice and calm. Nobody get excited. I was listening to this astrologer dude. It was so funny. I love it. I listen to so many astrologers. And the way I look at astrology is based on the perceiver. So if I pay somebody $200 and I give them my stats so that they can see who I am, I can tell who they are by how receptive on my chart, because I know my life, and my life is, well, I like to say it's been margical. Because it has. Anyway, so I was listening to this guy, and in one instance, he's talking about, because we're in Aquarius season now. Don't take Aquarius season. Don't take anything personal. It's not personal. Don't take things personal. And I'll be darned if not 5 minutes later, not 300 seconds on the clock go round. And that same dude said, I can't wait till blah, blah, blah gets out of this position because I'm taking it personal. And I'm just like, dude, guy, do you hear yourself? I'm a contrarian. I'm a hypocrite. Because I'm always gathering new data. And then so I'll change my mind. Someone else will tell me a perspective that'll make more sense, and something I believed in for decades could be absolved just like that because I see things in a new light. And so he's talking about, and then he first started talking off about the Davos stuff, which gets me to thinking, because I just look at the earth as a big radio. And where people aren't, there aren't places in earth to be seen. If there isn't a perceiver, there's just, go play the game Subway Surfer, and you get what I'm talking about. When I saw that game, I started playing that game, and I was like, man, this is hard. I think I broke 1 million on it at least, and then I get bored with stuff and have to go do other things. It's like, okay, I did what I want. Don't really care about whatever, I could still do that thing and enjoy it, but I reached the goal. I did that with this tube. It took me over 7 years to get 1,000 subscribers. Because in my heart of hearts, I know, Marge, you're not doing this for subscribers. You're doing this for, out of whatever perceivers there are on the planet, the very few that tune into this message, you're for them. You're specifically for them. You're not for everybody. And I look at the whole earth as a radio. And latitudes and longitudes are basically no different than when you tune into well, they don't have radios anymore. Everything's digital streaming. Yet it's a bandwidth. You can, like, the Nielsen's used to track what people watch so they know what advertising they can focus the people can buy their items, you know. Like they watch Leave It to Beaver, so you gotta put a sale on laundry detergent because moms are being a focus. That's what the psyop of America is. And so, like, I lived on the 45th parallel, which, if you look it up, go down your own look if you want. I don't know, and that's just like the dial on the AM radio. And then you look at all the people, which is the prime meridian. Then you look at all the or it's the 45th is the halfway. I misspoke. So when I look up cities and towns that are located on the 45th parallel, and the major ones are, some of them 45th parallel. We'll call the 46th. So that's Salem, Oregon. So in all the cities all the way across the United States, and Serbia, and Hungary, and all these cities and all these towns. And it's kind of funny. I bet if somebody did a study how they just traveled to all these cities, they probably kind of feel the same. People kind of have the same attitude. Weather's probably kind of the same. They probably experience a lot of, like, it probably rains on the same day, stuff like that, you know, because we're just a radio, and people are having experiences based on their frequency of which their heart beats, is how I've come to understand it. So I look at other cities on the 45th parallel, because I lived in Salem for a while. Let's see, X out of here, cities on the, and I got a ±2 latitude, 40th parallel north, cities around the world, around the world, around the world. I should listen to that song right now. United States. So we have, it passes through Lincoln City. I've been there. You pass through Salem, and then it goes through North Powder, Idaho. That's kind of a rich, snooty, you know, place where important people go to gather, right? And then you go through Brunagee Mountain ski area. Again, more important people. Salmon, Montana. Clout can't like, you gotta be important to go to, like, you gotta be in some kind of, like, you know, you gotta have it. God, you just gotta have lots of letterhead and people that do whatever you want at the bucking call. Let's see, Watertown, Minnesota. How's Minnesota feeling up there? Minnesota, you doing all right, Minnesota? Bunch of babies throwing tantrums. On both sides of the badge. That's how I look at it. Chippewa Falls near Wausau. So these people all kind of, you know, they all kind of feel the same because they all kind of vibe to the same. They kind of just, you know. And then where people gather, that if it feels low and they want to feel better, what do they choose to do? A lot of them have the same coping skills. Yeah, you have the people that are often doing van life in the woods, hunting, my headset's glitching. I'm turning it down on my phone, but it's not. The volume isn't turning down in here. There's a delay. I think that dude, he bitches about StreamYard, about his missing screen, how he has to burn a screen, so he calls it. I'm like, dude, I could glitch everything out. It's called being an electronic slider. Like they make a world for people that think like them. What I was talking about earlier, what's happening on the 46 is the devils are meeting in Davos, Switzerland. And I just find it very interesting that of all the places I've ever been in the countries and the different, of here and there, dither, whatever, hasn't really been a whole lot of places, honestly. Um, More than most, less than some, a lot. And you have people that go around and they know what the world's really like. They know it's bells, whistles, it's pony shows, it's production, it's 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 a contrived reality, getting people to believe that organizations are better than they are, that agencies are not more than welfare systems for the employees that work within the agency, and if you go along with their rules, regulations, policies, or procedures, and if you're really willing to duck the right ones and do whatever the people in charge want you to do, even though it's so confusing to me. I was in the military, and I was this autistic kid that would follow the rules, but then I drank too much, and then I wouldn't follow the rules. And so they figured out, like, we got, she could stay in if she can control herself, but if we can't control her, then hey, what's up? Then she's got to get out. But I got, for some reason, they let me stay in. I was the last person in the 55th Maintenance Squadron that didn't get kicked out, because Colonel Egbert let me stay in for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because, I don't know. Because he kind of reminded me of Mr. Holohan, my English teacher that let me stay in his class after Mom got hurt. And then I had to run back and forth to see her in the hospital and then go catch the bus. Maybe he could see the weight this 15-year-old kid was under and cut me slack, because I got wasted falling asleep to Romeo and Juliet, the boring black and white one, and woke up and the class was empty. I'm sure I smelled like a freaking barrel of freaking... I drank like 5 of those little mini bottles in less than 20 minutes, those airplane bottles of like vodka, tequila. It was about, and it was just, but I was trying to escape because I was like a kid and I didn't know what the fuck to do, because I didn't have anybody to look out for me, so I had to look out for myself. And I've been trying to make a world ever since where people didn't have to look out for themselves, that it could just be a safe place. And then I became a part of these stage productions of what America is and what the world is, and it's none of these things. It's not any of these things. It's growing gardens. It's taking care of the baby with 2 club feet, making sure it's nurtured and feels loved, because it already came to this world very ungrounded, and I know what that feels like, because I don't have earth in my chart, and I have a lot of water, so I cry a lot, and then people look at, because I look at them that way. Or I used to when I was little. I would hold everything in because I wouldn't cry. I'd never let them see me sweat, because that's how I was taught to take it, to endure it. I don't have to live that way anymore. See, the people that are running this country understand they're basically a bunch of 15-year-old brains, but they're in old men and women bodies, and they're digressing. You know how many people find my channel because they don't have Earth in their chart? We're alien. We don't live on planet. We live in the stars. We understand how we live in the stars because people that live on this earth, they create systems. And these systems are just control mechanisms because they aren't implemented to help. They're implemented to hinder. Biff in the House of Twinkies, he's saying, let them get into their own money that we would penalize them for if they had a medical emergency and needed it to pay insurance. Because I needed to cash in my 401k back in 2016 to pay rent and stuff like that, right? Like like I was a desperate. And see, people like Biff, he ain't never been desperate, except for when he's gripping the conference table at the bottom end. Because they all take it in the end. When they're willing to play the game, part of their initiation is taking it in the end. And I ain't never taken it in the end. I've relented a lot, but still there's a point like, no man, I ain't gonna do that. You dudes are freaking weird. My brother's in a fraternity. I walked in one day, they were they were having a party in the frat house, and I was like, he was walking through showing me this stuff, and like there's like literally people chanting freaking weird shit in the basement, and I'm just like, y'all are puppets, y'all are parrots, y'all, you don't do what your mommy and daddy tell you, you just do what you want because you see your mommy and daddy just go around doing what they want, and so you follow suit. There's no discipline, there's no decency, there's no connection to say, okay, I'm gonna be a dick 75% of my life, but 25% of the time I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna help people that can't help themselves. There's none of that. That don't happen. There's assholes that are meeting in Darvos, Switzerland to sit around tables and decide us how the stupid people or how we get to live. How they can do whatever they want, and how they're all bending each other over right now. I understand. That's what's happening in Darvos, Switzerland. They're all talking about what the unuseful idiots, us, the non-lizard people, the people of higher vibrational frequency. It could be a literal thing. I've seen freaking shapeshifters in my life. They didn't cause me harm. They actually made sure I made it home okay. So I grew up not judging people by the looks of because sweet old grannies can be like the ones that are like, hey, take nudies for me and my boyfriend. And I'm like, it's your boyfriend, that's not your husband. That kind of don't feel right to me. The propositions I've seen in my life are just bizarre, and I'm just like, why do people look at me and think that I want to join in their extramarital relations? I don't want to take your wife home. I'm not a fucking hoe bag. People want me to be a hoe bag because then it justifies their behavior. I've been celibate 9 years. I ain't gonna frickin' blow it on frickin' some dumb bitch. You know what I mean? I'm too cute for that. I've detoxed too much to saturate it with some bullshit. So, I was reminded when I was letting Luna out this morning, I was thinking about a game, because I was thinking about how when I was I was always used for, I've been used my whole, I'll let people use me, just let me use you back sometimes. Like, if I'm gonna do all you these favors, let me get a favor back if I need something, because I don't really ask people for help unless I'm really in a bind. And so if people can't help me, then they want to keep me in that bind. What's up? And that is jerky. I see people, it physically hurts me to see them in a bind. If I see people stuck in the middle of the road, I have to pull over, turn on my emergency lights, and help them get out of the way. Because I know what it feels like to have like 100 people saying, you suck for being in the way, but nobody ever helps them get out of the way. And that makes, and I tell them, I said, I'm going to help you because all these people suck, and they won't, including sheriffs that pass by. As far as I'm concerned, sheriff and police, while you're sitting there doing nothing, y'all need start kits in your car. Y'all need to be AAA too. Yeah. Y'all need to help people instead of sitting there freaking hogging up all the resources and then sitting there, hey Sandra, what's up? Sitting there and freaking and eating all those saturated fats and all that stuff, and then every year your belt, you have to do a bigger belt, You know, spring's coming up. People got their beach ready bods, or they put on another 7, 8 pounds because of, you know, eating their feelings instead of using those emotions productively and going out and chopping wood and maybe giving them to a single parent out there that don't got enough stuff. Because it's the people that have gone without. We're the meek. Okay, please, sir, can I have some more from Oliver Twist? Can I just have a little bit more? I'm a Oliver Twist. I was always the first in line because I get so excited and I wanted to choose. I wanted to choose. Where are you from, Sandra? Taunus, Tennessee. I'm in Taos. Well, I lived everywhere because I'm that frequency. I tune into all sorts of storylines. I've been to the 20th parallel 2 times. Once for peace, once for war. Tulum, Mexico for a wedding. And then I was on Crete when we bombed Iraq. Lived in Salem, been to Seattle, been to Fairbanks, Alaska. Southwest. I've been to Hammond. I had a life mentor. She was a professor at SELU, so Southeast Louisiana University. She was a PhD. She taught like master level. I guess she wrote. You know what's funny? I found her dissertation and sent it to this lady I know, and I never read it. Right? She just said my friends had it bound by leather because I'm so important that my words are blah blah blah. Right? I don't like to writing. I don't like the editing, the end of. I can't land on. Like, I gotta pull the trigger and decide, okay, this is how it's gonna be because it could be 1,000 other ways. You know, it's, no earth stuff. And so she, it was about women in leadership. I ain't never been up to like Vermont and all that, but I bet Vermont looks just like Taos does in the fall. Like the leaves are like, they call them different trees, but they're the same kind of thing. Because everywhere you go, the same is different, and the different is the same. They want to make you think it's different if they can profit from it, or they'll make you think it's the same. It's however they can convince you what your reality is in the contrived world. So I was thinking about how I played chess. I learned how to play chess because I always want to go along to get along. So people would gather to do things, and I wanted to participate. And then I would participate with people, and I thought I was doing things right, which I was, but I was just really good. I picked up things fast. I have a knack for things, and they didn't like that this little girl that talks funny comes in and just does things. And I learned how to play chess when I was 2.5, 3 years old, and my brother didn't like me. He never liked me. I have a piece of paper that says that how he talks about me and my sister don't get along very well, which he's saying I don't get along with her because he was my big brother. I looked up to him, all that stuff. But he didn't like me around unless it advantaged him. And he became an exceptional chess player because I was the weird kid that just wanted to hang out with my brother and would play over and over and over, and so he got good, and I would just try this. I wasn't taking it serious. I don't take things serious like that. I just want to have a good time, and then we'd get so competitive, and I could see where he would do things out of spite because we'd play other games like Stratego. You ever hear of that game? And Risk. You ever hear of these games? Stratego. That was a fucking suck-ass game. Here it is, Stratego. It's a classic 2-player strategy board game where players command armies to capture the opponent's hidden flag using baffling tactical setup and imperfect imperfect information about piece identities with higher rank pieces generally. See, first of all, they teach you if you're good, you'll get presents. If you're good, you'll get reward. Because Santa's a psychop. And then they have games like this. And then that's how they weed out who's going to go along with the contrived reality and who isn't. And I'm not. I did. Like I said, I was in the Air Force from 2000 to 2006, and I speak about all the things that I witnessed and all the bullshit that America is and how sorry I am for my service and how many men fucking lied to their families. That's what's so funny, is that I worked in maintenance. You were at a risk. Okay, so they plant seeds with find the impressionable, and then they find the impressionable, like my brother, because he's a programmer. He is a programmer. He is one of the people that writes the scripts that is distributed amongst the masses, so fear is invoked into the Earth's grid, and then they use our loosh, whoosh, juice, woo-woo, moosh, call it whatever you want, in different religions. It's in movies like Monsters, Inc. It's in cartoons. It's in movies like The Dark Crystal. I didn't watch Monsters, Inc. until I was an adult, because, like, I didn't watch a lot of cartoons. Like, I mean, when I was younger, I did, because we watch Aladdin, hang out with Alice D, and freaking watch Aladdin. That was fun. Or Beyond the Mind's Eye, or, you know. But then you go to show up at people's places, and they're watching shit like Faces of Death and stuff. And I'm like, no, not my world, not my world. And then I leave, but that world still goes on. And there's a lot of people there that are sitting around watching that. There's less people leaving that because they don't want that to be that world. And then the world has become that. And that is what is happening now, is you have a bunch of freaking backdoor dealings. I think it's funny. I heard a TikTok the other day. So I make fun of Philadelphia for being the city of butt love. See, I feel like I'm qualified, like I can, because my father's side, they're Freemasons. My grandma's Northern Star witches, stuff like it. It's that stuff. That, to me, anybody that does that, it's like, if you're willing to change the fate of another person's life because you feel like it, to me, that is, would you mess with the will of another being, whether it's a cat, dog, kid, animal? That's fucked up. And that is why my spirit says, that's gross. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And like I was in their rituals and stuff like that. I just didn't know what they were. I was participating. I was a willing participant. I did stuff that I think now is weird as an adult that adults should do. Like I remember telling somebody as an adult that I learned how to play. My grandpa taught us how to play poker, because we play strip poker when I was 3-4 years old, and people are, you know, like, that ain't right, you know? And my brother never lost. He'd win. So, I mean, like, you know, anytime men tell me how it's going to be, I'm just, or women with too much masculine energy, you know, and then if they try to touch me, it's over. It's over. You're a fucking creep. You don't touch people without permission. You just don't. It's an evasive, energetic, vampire, sucky, icky thing. I don't like it. I'm less touchy. Unless I'm comfortable with you. Then let's hug it up, heart to heart, buddy. So you get these highly impressionable mental midgets that doesn't exist. Usually Virgo, Cancer, Pisces signed men, and then they put them in position. Gemini too. and then just let them do whatever they want, and then they're just like they're like little toddlers that like shit in their diaper and think it's nice and stinky and that's cute, and then they take their diaper off and then, oh, that's cute, and then they wipe it on the wall and smear it, and then it's just like, oh wait, it was cute, now it's not cute anymore. And that's what America is. It's a fucking liar, dude. Then they have parades for us going in places and bombing shit so we can take other people's stuff. But here, America, you don't walk into a man's house and take their shit. You'll get shot dead. But it's okay as long as we do it over there. All that Gaza shit, all that stuff, all they're trying to do, they've been trying, it's back and forth, back and forth. They want to make another Panama Canal, so it's all about money. It's like, you know, but like, you can't, in America, there's houses empty everywhere, and there's more homeless people that need a house. But if you go into one of those empty houses, you will go through the system that makes Big Brother, enables them to be wicked. And so you have to stay within the law. Keep your hands to yourself. Circumvent their systems. Gather and meet and do what you want to do without their shit. I do everything for free. I don't have a tax ID. What are they going to tax me for? I get $300. I go buy magnets and then I go give them to people in the community. You going to tax me for generosity? How are you going to measure that? Because you have none within you, bureau brats. Call them bureau brats. Call every time you see one. You choose to be a burrow brat. You are an asshat. You are part of a system that does not help. It hinders. Speak in terms like that. You are not an evil asshole. You are a logical, even-minded, keel being that is expressing frustrations. They've been trying to get me to get my goat my whole life. They've been trying to weaponize my anger, my hurt. Just neglect her. Just reject her. She'll throw a tantrum, and then she'll just end up in jail. My brother, I don't think he works for the Office of Parole anymore. I think his title has since changed. The man still, if you want to call him that, makes $200. You want to see the difference between, I look at America, do you ever hear that term, the letter of the law and the spirit of the law? You want to see the difference between the spirit of America, which I identify as being aligned with, and the letter of America? I'll show you right now. Hold on. Give me just a second. It's right over here. I just got to take the light. It's right over here. It's right here. Oh, I gotta get rid of this stuff. I gotta wipe it all down and pack it away in totes and get ready to move wherever that's gonna be. Okay, so this is a nice rendition of the letter. Here is the letter of the military. This is what they want you to believe the military is. Hold on, I gotta wipe this off. It's dusty. Okay, so this is, and my brother's a lawyer, understand, so this makes it extra funny. He took this picture in 1989, and I don't think he's retired yet. So this is the letter of the law, okay? Do as I say, not as I do. Fraternity guy, like, look at that, right? He is the American dream, right? He is everything. He's a Virgo. So he learned how to play the game. He learned how to become the role. I'm an Aries. I'm a fucking clown. Check this shit out. I got my picture taken a few times. So this is the spirit of what America is. See the difference? See the difference? We were roommates, and he went with the program instead of going with the spirit. And like, helping a sister out and all that stuff, that verifies all that stuff that they tell us is true, like freedom and democracy. Like, they talk about how we have free will, but what do people do with their free will? See, so like I said earlier, I lived in Sacramento. I had shape-shifting taxi drivers, like Liz, and I was like, whoa, I see what you are, but they recognize that I don't discriminate. And they see that I'm not going to be a threat to them, so they're not going to be a threat to me, right? And I just go out in the world and I just see what different people are threatening in different ways. Like, I could feel who the abusers are, so I just let them know, hey, I'll stand next to them at the grocery store. I'm not wrong a lot. I could be wrong. I could be wrong every time. But I'm not, because they all wear the same clothes and they smell the same and they have that same, like they don't, like when you, that stale laundry smell, like when your clothes don't dry all the way, like that, and stuff like it. They just have, like on a map legend, they're just telling me they're a creep, and so I just let them know. I say, you're gonna fly under the radar of a lot of people, but you ain't flying under mine. I know exactly what you are, because I've met this darkness. I've seen it. I've been touched by the wieners of evil. Only once when I was a baby. As I grew up, that doesn't, the threats don't, they threaten you more in the darkness with things like your security and like your benefits and stuff, like what you're due they'll take away. It's just all about their fear tactics. But see, I serve God. To me, God is like, Marge, don't retaliate, don't don't just, don't say things that aren't true. I don't say anything that's not true. Everything I have ever said on my channel is based on valid information. I just think it's so funny how many people allow the behavior like that. Like, but I've always known it. When I was in AA, there's this dude everybody thought was a great guy. His name's Bobby Coyle. He's a total piece of shit. He's a complete machismo asshole from Philadelphia. He's a dirty cop that got every position, every chair he ever sat in. He got it because of who his daddy was, not because of anything substantial he did. What did he do? He stole a base at the stadium at Philadelphia. Like, yeah, that's something that freaking small children, like, I hate baseball, sports, all that. It's a time suck. It's just, let them take all your freaking whoosh juice, loose juice, whatever, and don't do anything productive while you're swilling beers and sodas and eating a bunch of. When I was in the military, we'd get the good gig work. And Rosie in the shop, he made it so we could go do work at a concession stand when they had like big names that came at the Mid-America Center. One thing that I did get to do, this is kind of a historic thing. It was the 4th of July. They used to have the College World Series in a stadium called Rosenblatt in Omaha. And then they tore that historic baseball stadium down that had been around forever to put in a parking lot for the Omaha Zoo. But before they did that, we got to go. But it was 4th of July, and like, I hated fireworks. My dog hated fireworks. I just wanted to leave and go home and be with him before the fireworks kicked off. So like, I never. And then one time I saw corn at the Mid-America. So like, you get like if you're willing to do dirty deeds, you get the best gigs. You do. You get rewards. You get benefits. You get, if you're gonna go do our stupid club stuff, then that's hella dope. Here's some of this and here's some of that. That's cool. I got to go behind the scenes. I knew important people. These one people, they, when their kid got married, they had the receptionist at the aquarium at the Henry Dorley Zoo. That's got to cost a lot unless you know somebody. If you know the right people, it won't cost you anything. Oh yeah, you just come in, we'll set up. We do it all the time. You've been a good friend. You know? But people just can't have a place to live. Like, because they benefit more from people suffering in America. The more I see, America really is run off satanic freaking Satan worshippers, and they're all meeting in Davos right now. I just think it's interesting of all of the repeat cities. Like, when I put in where I was born, San Bernardino, it says which one, and there's all these, even Crete, like Crete, Greece. There's a Crete, Nebraska. I've been to both. Like, there's all the Springfield, generic town, USA. Salem, generic town, USA. How many Salems are on the same, or plus or minus 2 within the same latitude? Because that's how they get people to stay in too. And then okay, so what's Sacramento? What's Sacramento? I think Sacramento is what is latitude of Sacramento? Because then they put state capitals on all the main latitudes or longitudes, so that's how they dial in how people can behave. And how do they know what people are thinking? Why? The Recce RC-135 aircraft. They're used to monitor and track mainstreams of consciousness all over. And you know how they practice? On us. They practice on us here in the US of A. How do I know? Because I was age. And I supported that mission. And they just fly around. They listen to... They practice. Wait, what are they hearing on? They're into the woo-woo. Let's see if we can recruit them. If we can't them to go along with us, then they are our enemy, because we are the state of the Republic for which it stands from getting bent over. And that's pretty much the picture of America. Because you got a bunch of freaking frat brat little freaking bitches that, drank too much, and then they played Stratego when they were kids, and now they want to be the highest in command and take over everything. Because they play stupid games like chess and Monopoly and all this stuff, that all it is to teach people how to take other people's shit and then tell them it's their fault for letting them give it up so easy. That's weird, I think. Anyway, my little blip on my horoscope today, it says Mercury sextiles Neptune. You're a visionary. Yap about the future you want to create. So this is what I'm going to see. I'm going to see programmers. Is that what they say? I think people should say comply or eat a pie, and then throw a pie. Stand down. See, I don't like using clowns as derogatory terms because I'm a heyoka. We're clowns, so I'm only talking shit about myself. So, okay, so I want to see people that I don't want assist. I just want a window, and then you go up and be like, hey, I need like 50 grand because this is what I'm gonna do. And then they give you 50 grand, and then you go do that thing, right? It's going to help your community, right? And the more you help, the more they're going to let you. Like, because it takes pressure off the system if you let the private citizen handle stuff that the stupid cousins are not intelligent enough to handle themselves. So... This is my horoscope. I love this app. Your younger self needed someone like you. As a Gemini Mars, your mind darts and weaves, making fascinating connections that others struggle to keep up with. But sometimes this mental agility can come across as flightiness or inconsistency. Right now, though, your versatility is appreciated rather than questioned. Enjoy the validity of your younger self. That's dope. And then it has do's and don'ts. Do backyard, bag lunch, barefoot. Don't repetition, nostalgia, video games. I don't do video games. That younger person who made those mistakes wasn't careless. They were doing their best with limited tools. The clarity you have now wasn't available then. Stop holding the past hostage to impossible standards. I use the past as reference, essentially, so that I don't do the same things and have the same feelings I did when I acted the ways I did. Like in order to not feel remorse, I don't do things that make me feel remorseful. In order to not feel anger, I try not to put myself in places where people's attitudes and their differences than mine make me percolate inside. Because then, why set myself up to get in trouble? Because I try to stay where like attracts like, and I don't live where I want to live. I live where God has me live, and then we ended up here in from Salem, Oregon, and Taos, New Mexico, only to find out Mom, who we knew was adopted. I knew my whole life, like, because I always wanted to know where my face came from. And she's like, I was adopted, and I didn't know. I was like, well, I always wanted to know where she came from because I was Scorpio moon. It's in me. And we end up in Taos, New Mexico, which is 22 miles south of a little freaking blip of a town called Cuesta, where they talk about where the giants once roamed. And now they're laid to rest. But that's where Mom was born, is what we find out. Isn't that trippy? So I don't have to go around be like boasting all. But look at me and look what like Stuart Little what I can do. I don't have to do that. Because all I gotta do is tell stories about what my life actually is. And people just can't believe it. I don't have to make this shit up. And it's verified. I got pictures of Mom and her nephew and her cousin that came to see her, and then they found out because they're opportunistic freaking machismo assholes that are about, benefiting and profiting off the woman's uterus and not really doing much of anything to support the female. And I grew up around that, and then once they saw that, they weren't gonna get, then we never heard from them ever again. Met her niece, met relatives of her, and then I was just like, Mom, God really does protect us by keeping people or us out of people's lives. So we don't mind. We don't mind. Me and Mom get by good, huh? And Luna's back there still. She's a pretty girl back there, pretty in her bits. And we got Stanley. One day we'll move and we'll get more critters, and then we'll have more things to love, and then more people will see us and be like, man, it really is it benefits your skin and makes you look younger when you love things. It works a lot better than Botox. Love is better than Botox. But people that haven't figured that out, because they keep doing the things that could keep them disconnected from being their authentic. Ain't no person on this human. Don't people see? I'm so happy to hear about how people are abstaining from the spirits of alcohol. That they aren't relying that anymore. That lets me know that planet Earth is going to be okay, because that's a cognitive dissonance that is just being omitted as people choose to handle life on the terms in which it's sucky, dude. Life is sucky. I think if life were a game, the goal is that through all the hardships and suck that life is, that if you could still smile and like have a genuine smile and then go to the store and then people come up and strangers tell you that you're adorable, I think that's kind of winning at life. And I have to be nicer and softer. I was trying to be soft. But see, all my dogs were dying at the same time. And I knew it. It was my path. I saw it. And for years it was so good because they were so healthy. It was so bad. It was so rad. But then when they were all racing toward the Rainbow Bridge, it got hard. And I tried not to carry that pain in my body because they could feel it. And then I felt like I was pushing them towards the Rainbow Bridge. So I was so mad and hurt. Not one single person in my community stopped and said, you know what, I can see your pain. And then I realized Mom is from here and I'm related to a lot of these people in this community. Then I figured out that they don't want to help me because they hate themselves. They hate themselves. They think that if they give something up to help me, that's going to be giving up something of themselves. And then there's not going to be enough for when they need help. And that's not how energy works. Energy works from me giving everything that I am to other people. And then at night I'm tired and I go to sleep and I get to recharge my batteries and rest my soul and my spirit, and then I get to dream and go spend time in the no play space with my dogs at the Rainbow Bridge, and then I feel better until I wake up and then realize, oh, it's this one. And if I don't like my reality, I gotta go out and drive around until I find the one that fits and suits me better. And so this spring I'm gonna order a bunch of seeds. And I'm just gonna be the little seed fairy. I'm just gonna plant seeds all over Taos. And then I'm gonna ask the crows to protect the seeds, because the seeds are for the people. And if they protect the seeds, then I'll come and drive along and I will give them peanuts so they can eat the peanuts, but just not the seeds. Because cooperation is nature's way. Because all we are to do is to be the custodians of this earth. To make sure the waters are clean and the air stays clean and the filters get changed. And the oil and all the maintenance and ugly stuff gets done. So people's spirits can stay in smooth operation, and the only reason why we have wars is because little tiny men feel conflicted within themselves. That's what I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a rad day. Peace.